Good morning. Well, it's late morning now. It's 11:19 a.m. on Saturday. Trying to not overwork myself because I've been doing a lot of life skills learning. And I'm just looking at Vivi. The cutest little girlie is Tiao Shi, being picky with her food, but I still love you. Why don't you like it? It's very healthy. It should be yummy. Anyway, she's being picky. Anyway, I'm halfway through my kimchi pesto cheese toast. Good. Life has been a little heavy, but also it's Lionsgate. So I thought I would make this video talking about what I'm releasing. Yeah. I'm good. I guess I won't buy her that next time then. We know what she likes now. Perhaps I should have bought a sampler instead of a whole packet. Now I have leftover food. I don't know what to do about it. I'm thinking a lot about the differences between Astrid and Nick's stories in the Crazy Rich Asians series. Because they are kind of like foils of each other, aren't they? And Rachel and Michael are also foils of each other. And I do feel like under the patriarchy, having it all looks different. Of course, yes, Nick's girlfriend experiences a lot of hazing. But when he finally takes the simple step of standing up for him, the bare minimum for someone you love or claim to love enough to bring home to introduce your family, the fact that he did not even brief her or talk to her about it, red flags. Okay, red flags. And what happens after, in the process of their relationship, she makes him better. Okay, she makes him a much better man. Even though he is already, or was in the book, already considered the most eligible bachelor in Singapore if he had continued to live there. And it's very clear the power dynamics. He, out of all of the males in the social circle, he clearly holds the power, right? Even though he's attending his best friend's wedding. And then, on the other hand, his cousin, who is arguably, well, she has the same level of social status as him because they're from the same family. In terms of their family status, they should be the same level. Maybe more, because her father was the one who was able to purchase a hotel in London for her mother after they experienced racism. Okay. But you see the precedent that sets, right? But then for some reason, Astrid doesn't enjoy the same privileges because she's born into the non-patriarchally lucky sex. And I say patriarchally lucky as a phrase. Okay, so you have luck within the patriarchy. Personally, I do feel like being born a woman is very lucky. You know? It doesn't give me patriarchal luck though. Even if you all want to talk about pretty privilege, Nick on this scale has just as much, if not even more, pretty privilege than Astrid. Yeah, he does. Because he doesn't just receive attention and adoration from both men and women. He doesn't experience the same misogynistic harassment and abuse and danger that Astrid faces as a woman. And even after she marries Michael, Astrid still makes him better. And I kind of feel like, yes, I do feel sad for them because Michael also does experience hazing and bullying. But at the same time, this kind of, he also has, like, in the book, well, I mean, spoilers for the book, but it's not that, I mean, yeah, spoilers for the book, but her brothers sit him down and show him her assets and how much income she makes from her charity work and how she out-earns him by multiples. And she still makes him better. She's the one who gives him the capital for his startup indirectly through the man who loves her and who she ends up with anyway. But that whole part of the story as well is like that guy who is arguably more acceptable to the family than Michael on the scale, and he's higher on the social status scale, he still pales in comparison to someone like Nick. So the pressure on Astrid is then, and the highest point of success in her life would be if she were able to marry a man who has more capital and resources and status than her cousin Nick. And that's what she's measured by. So yeah, all of her husbands will be judged on that scale. And yet, it's very dehumanizing to be stripped of your own achievements and accomplishments. I mean, she graduated from Oxford. Dude, she's so smart. And she's disqualified from accessing the same achievements and the prestige and the impact that her cousin can access simply because he's a male. And of course, the big twist in the story, this one is a major spoiler. But it goes to my point. The big twist in the story is that their grandmother wasn't going to give any of them an inheritance anyway because she was a woman and she was disqualified from inheriting the company. So it's all very much ado about nothing. And yet, Astrid has to go through his public humiliation ritual because she married the wrong man. And her future is tied to that man. It's very depressing. And so, like, it makes me question, like, what does it mean to have it all as a woman under this patriarchal system? It doesn't matter how successful I am individually. And my worth and my value is automatically impacted by my partner if he was heterosexual male, okay? And if I choose not to live within that system, I get disqualified from all of the benefits of it. and I have to pave my own way. I have to pioneer something different. And it's like, it is one of those things that really makes me wish, like, maybe I should have been born male, you know? Not that I even want to be male, but I want the privileges that men have been hoarding for thousands of years. And yes, I am very grateful and lucky to be born in 2026, where women have access to the basics of these privileges, like being able to open a bank account, hold property in her name, have a credit score. Okay, yeah. You're saying, yes, you can now enter the race. But all these people have generational privileges that have compounded and are automatically given to them simply because they were born into the default identity. And the funny thing about the story is, like, it's not uncommon, you know? Like, it's not unrealistic either. Like, I know people that this happens to in real life. And as a Singaporean, like, there are tier 1 cities in even the country that a lot of upper class Singaporeans look down on, the PRC. There are tier 1 cities in China, in mainland China, that are more feminist than my home country. Even though for decades, we were considered more progressive, we had closer proximity to the wealth that was hoarded and stolen by the colonists, because we speak English and we are a former colony and we're like the world's best diplomat. Yeah, okay, Singaporean passport is very powerful, and that in itself is a privilege that was earned. See, that was an earned privilege, okay? For like, because like, as a Singaporean, I have to continue sustaining that privilege, don't I? You could argue that, yeah, our government earned that for us, but we are, like, as citizens, we contribute what? You can't just say, like, anyway, yeah. And especially for everyone who's gone through NS, they earned that privilege, 100%. And then they always want to bring up NS, like, as if women, you know, just because women aren't required to do NS, like, blah blah blah. But there are women who voluntarily sign up for it, and also women voluntarily give you babies. They voluntarily become your household managers. If you have domestic help, they're still managing your household, you know that? They're doing jobs that have been historically unpaid for, and if you were to hire people to do them, especially if he's a man, if you were going to hire another man to help you do those things, you would be paying him more, wouldn't you? So, okay lah, why don't we switch? You can carry children for 9 months and change your bodies forever. And then women can do NS, right? It's not like y'all even going to war, you know. Are you in... I'm gonna go there. Are y'all in West Asia right now, fighting? Really, like... And that's why I really think, like... having it all as a woman in Singapore is like not possible given the current social system and societal structure. I mean, yeah, how many of our actual leaders supposed to be so progressive, so first world country? Okay. It didn't really even matter, and I say this from first-hand experience. I'm not even going into too much of it, but I did feel like it didn't matter how much I achieved when I was living in London as a woman. Like, I was on a tier 1 talent visa that I earned. Like, I was the one who got those referrals, and I did the work to get the right references. I was the one who put together my resume, and yes, you could argue that I had privilege from my parents, and yet I did more than most males who have more family privileges than I do. You know, there are men who are born into more wealth than me in Singapore and have more access and status, and yet I did more than them when I was living in London, you know. I literally co-founded a healthcare company on a talent visa, and I don't even want to talk about that too much because I don't want to, you know, it's not anybody's business. But the point is that after I went home to Singapore, right, I really, just because I wasn't married, my accomplishments were reduced to my dependence on my parents or my father. It's like they judged me based on my dad. So it's like, it doesn't matter how successful you are as like a woman, you automatically reduce to the accomplishments of your closest living male, right? Like, how many women super accomplished still reduce to what their brothers can or cannot do? If that brother is the only one who's alive. Not that it's much better in America, but I kind of find that because the slate is blanker, I don't have to fight against the tide that is going in an opposite direction. The same way I did when I was in Singapore. And the irony is that, like, I'm very patriotic, you know? I miss home so much. I just don't see a path for me. And it's taken me years to admit that to myself, you know? It's like the writing was on the wall. People could see it before I could. And the most obvious one was the responses of males, right? The way that men treated me is so weird. It was so clear that they felt that I was quote unquote better than them. Even though I don't really know didn't know what that means, I still don't quite know what it means. But I'm not looking to be better or worse than you. I'm looking to collaborate and build things together, make art. But you want to be the spearhead of the things that we are making together. You want to hold the privileges. You want to be the leader of it. And because I don't even have to say anything, it's not like I'm even I barely even try. I just stand there and you already feel like I'm a threat. So what am I supposed to do? Right? If you're surrounded by people like that, what can you do, right? Nothing. Because these people are the gatekeepers, what? So, yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let the universe figure things out for me. And then it brought me to the biggest or the most developed film market in the world, and start from zero on paper, in my opinion. But at least I have not even like the word, and I don't mean the word qualified as in like, I mean like, I don't mean the word qualified as in things that you can change and you can earn, okay, like an earned qualification. I mean like as if entering into a competition, the basic requirements, like I'm already qualified to be here. And the market is big enough for me to like, yeah, market is big enough for me to like not have to rely on, well, one pool of talent. And connections. Okay, like how is it that like the last project I did, right, in Singapore, I'm leading this project, and yet someone that I hired will try funny things with me, you know, and then claim that I'm reciprocating. Would you have done that if I was a man? Would you have undermined my authority that way? No. Anyway, this was a pretty depressing video, so I don't even know how I'm gonna share it I probably, so if I do share it, well, YOLO, what can I do? It's been on my mind. It's a harsh reality, you know, and I kind of feel like as a person, I'm not someone who minces my words for the sake of denying the truth, you know, or sugarcoating. And it's not like I'm being rude about it. I'm just being very matter of fact. And I think these are the things I really just want to move past from. And just addressing it once, now that I've talked about it, I'm like, okay, well, these are things outside of my control, right? How can I improve my relationship love? I have to close the door on all of these negative experiences. And let the universe show me something that works for me. All right. I'm done. Bye.